Kenny Hodge. Can you pull him up, Ryan, if you don't mind? Kenny, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Very well, very well. It's been great to hear you on the air on Thursday night here. A lot of negativity right now with the Boston Bruins, losers of 6 straight. From your vantage point on Thursday night, what stuck out to you as the biggest reason for why this losing streak was extended and not ended?
Well, I've listened to you guys talk about being, the physicality, and I also equate it to being strong on pucks, right? And I don't think the Bruins, after the first 5 minutes, were as strong on pucks. And Ryan and I talked about it during the broadcast. They did a great job of dumping pucks in, getting hard on forechecks, getting to loose pucks, getting guys in front of the net. And it seemed to just kind of drift away as as that first period kind of went on. And I don't think they did it for stretches of that game going forward. And to me, that's another part of being physical, is to get in front of the net, get to those danger areas where you need to create opportunities, get the goaltender's eyes looking someplace else. And Peter Mrazek the other night, Ryan mentioned this, 7-6 and 7-5 in his 2 games. He fought the puck the whole night. But after the first 5 minutes, we didn't really see a lot of that going to a danger area, creating great secondary opportunities. And I think that's something that the Bruins have really been missing the last few weeks.
So, as that game developed and, kind of ends up going back and forth in the third period, the Bruins, again, and we've seen this multiple times this year, where they battle back, they get even or they get close only to make a breakdown. So as a player, when you're chasing the game a little bit, is there a natural tendency maybe to just kind of pull back a little bit once you get that game tied and, you relax just a hair, and that ends up being to your detriment?
Yeah, you take your foot off the gas for just that half a second, because you're down 5-3, now you're at 5-5, you're at home, the crowd is into it, the bench is into it. You take that half a step back off the break for just a quick second, and excuse me, it ended up costing the Bruins, as we saw on the Terry goal, where 2 guys are puck watching on Garland, who was in the corner of the ice. Garland in that situation was not a threat to score from there. And unfortunately, the guy that was a threat to score from there was the guy that ended up scoring the goal, and that was Terry. And that's some of the things that I think have crept into the Bruins game. And I think you guys mentioned a little bit about Morgan Geekie, a couple of the back checks. I mean, Colangelo goal, the 2 defensemen did exactly what you're supposed to do on the Colangelo goal. They take their men, and the puck just goes to a wide open guy in front of the net, and there's nobody around. And I read the Corpusalo quotes the other day as well, and how disappointed he was that he gave up 6 goals. I thought he had a pretty strong game. At 5-3, he made a couple of really good saves, but these team breakdowns that they're having are really kind of costing the Bruins right now.
And do you agree, Kenny, with the assessment from Nikita Zadorov that a lot of it is mental right now, just given these mistakes and how elementary they seem to a certain degree? Do you think that when a team is on a skid like this, it does become perhaps more mental than physical at the same time?
Oh, 100%, because what's happening is you're trying to do someone else's job instead of just focusing on doing your own job. And to quote a former football coach in this area, do your job and do your job to the best of its ability. And unfortunately, some of these guys are maybe trying to do my job, your job, and someone else's job, and it's costing the Bruins in those situations. And they talked about being man-on-man pressure in their defensive zone. I kind of don't see that sometimes. There's stretches where guys are running around and doing a little too much instead of just saying, okay, I'm the left winger, I got to be on the right point man, or I'm the right winger, I got to be on the left point man. Center support the defenseman down low. I know it's simple, but I think that's the Marco Sturm approach this year, is to just be simple in your defensive zone. And I think some of these guys are unfortunately trying to do too much.
I'm sure during the course of your career, be it college, pros, whatever, you've been through a stretch where it feels like just kind of nothing is going your way. As a team, how do you pull yourself out of that?
Well, that's a great question. And the first thing you got to do is, as I said, don't worry about doing my job. I'll do my job. You do your job. And that's kind of how that message has to be. You have to do your own job and be your own person. And we're not going to score 4 goals in one shift. I mean, if we do, great. I mean, but usually shifts don't last that long that you can score more than 1 or 2 goals a shift. So and it's as simple as saying you have to win your next shift. And unfortunately, I think that's what the Bruins have to start doing is win shift by shift, period by period, and start getting something positive going into that locker room. And right now, I think anything that happens to them seems to turn into something negative, and the negative continues to compound itself. And you just got to kind of go back to just doing the very basic stuff and do the basic stuff to the best of your ability.
Kenny, you look at this opponent today, Colorado, a really tough team, obviously one of the best teams in the league. When you're looking to get back in the win column against a team of this caliber, who are you looking to? You're looking to your stars? You looking to your bottom of the roster guys to set the tone? Where does it begin for you in terms of this team getting back in the win column?
I really think it has to be your top players. I mean, there were stretches the other night that I didn't see some of the top players playing the game. You need to have the Pasternaks, you need to have the McAvoys, you need to have the Geekies all contributing. I think you have a team today in Colorado who played on Thursday night, flew here yesterday, and are playing a 1 o'clock game for them. You have an opportunity to jump on them the first 5 minutes of this game and set the tone of this game, maybe the first 10 minutes of the game, and set the tone and give them an excuse as to why they shouldn't be playing today, right? I mean, they're a team that hasn't lost a regulations game this year. Give them an excuse as to, okay, well let's win tomorrow. Give them an excuse today, but you got to come out hard. You got to come out and forecheck. You got to do what they did for the first 5 minutes the other night, which was dump, get bodies on defensemen, get guys to the front of the net. The goaltender got pulled the other night. Edgewood got pulled the other night for Colorado. Give him a reason to not want to play today. And it's simple. And it becomes human nature, right? Okay, we've had a lot of travel. We have built-in excuses. Give them a reason to not want to play today. And that's what I think the Bruins have to do today is dump, chase, and get aggressive on their forecheck.
I mean, if the Bruins can play today like they did in the first period of that game in Colorado, I mean, they kind of went toe-to-toe with the Avalanche over the first 20 minutes of that game, and they were behind 2-1, but as Marco Sturm said after that game, it's like, I'll take that against a team like that because they were playing well, and then it just kind of got away from them over the final 40. Colorado really asserted themselves. So, if they can manage to somehow sustain an effort like that in the first period, they'll have a shot today.
And you don't want it to become a track meet, right, Ryan? I mean, that's what happened in the second and third period of that hockey game. It became a track meet. I think the Bruins ended up with 14 shots that night. So you don't want to give the Avalanche the space to skate around all over the ice. And that's what I mean by dumping the chasing and forechecking it. And as you guys mentioned, being a little bit harder on pucks and made a little bit get in their way and make it hard on them because they want to be north and south. They don't want to be east and west. They want to be north and south. So get it and make it hard on those guys. And if they can do that, they might be successful tonight. And I really, glass is half full guy here. I really think the Bruins have a real good chance today of doing something very special today and winning a hockey game.
And what would that do for them, just emotionally? When you're going through this, as you spoke about, getting back to basics here, but does an emotional lift? Is it greater when it comes against a team like Colorado versus, say, in Anaheim? Just like, hey, we beat this team, so that should give you that's almost like jumping some levels, so to speak, confidence-wise. Can it be like that?
I think a win's a win, right? At this point right now, this 6-game losing streak, I think a win is a win, and it doesn't matter who you beat, I think, right now at this point for the Bruins. I think they just need to get that W in that column and start to feel good about themselves again. They started off 3-0. They felt really good about themselves, went on that tough road trip, came back, and it's kind of snowballed from there. A win's a win, and you look at the standings. I mean, the Bruins, what are they? A couple points out of first wild card, and a couple points out of third place in the division. So you start to win a couple wins together, and all of a sudden you're back in the picture, and everyone's pretty happy in the locker room.
Yeah, it does feel that way, right? Like that's been sort of their saving grace, right? Is that you lose 6 in a row, but the whole division is struggling right now. The Atlantic as a whole, I believe I saw the stat last night that entering play last night, Montreal is the only team with a positive goal differential right now in the division, and you have some of the teams that are much like the Bruins, kind of scuffling 500, a game below, a game above. So they're not out of it yet. It's been a horrible stretch for them, but they're not out of it, and today would be a massive win for this team. Obviously, Kenny, I want to ask your opinion before we let you go. You played in the era of so many superstars, and we're in this era now of the just unbelievable talent. You know, a team like Colorado has Nate McKinnon and Cale Makar. As a former player, like, who are some players that for you are absolute must-watch talents and that, you know, you go out of your way to watch them every night?
You got to start with the guy in Pittsburgh, right? He is unbelievable. Sidney Crosby. I know he doesn't win the MVPs of the league, but at 39 years old, I mean, to do what he continually does, put up 80-something points a season. I mean, I think he's one of the marquee guys of this league, and to watch him in the Four Nations and to just kind of to fit right in with that team as well. Last February, I should say, was just phenomenal. You got to love to watch McKinnon, or not McKinnon, McDavid when he comes in as well. Those are the two guys that I must watch every night, and it's amazing to see Crosby continually do what he does. To get down on a knee to get those pucks in the net when he's on the power play, and Pittsburgh is going as well as that power play is taking it right now, and Sidney Crosby is the main reason. McDavid up is just phenomenal. Just to watch him skate through the neutral zone, and those two guys, especially the two guys that I just love to watch every night.
Yeah, this was a game that I missed last year. When the Avs came to town, I was sick, so I didn't cover the game. And I was so bummed all year. I was like, man, I want to see Makar and McKinnon in person, man. They're just such a treat. It's just so much fun to watch. And I imagine covering them in their games is a thrill as well, Ryan.
That's what the ones that we get to, getting to see all these teams in person, the guys who can skate the way that McDavid skates, the way that McKinnon skates, like those are the ones that really kind of jump off the page to me when I'm watching these games. It's like, and I said it, when I was on the morning show earlier this week, it's like if you get a chance to see Colorado in person today, or Vegas when they're here later this year, or Edmonton, obviously, if you haven't seen McDavid play in person, like that's worth the price of admission times 5.
I'm
it's
so
like,
excited.
Yeah, it's like Crosby's
so excited to watch the game today.
Yeah, Crosby's a little different animal, and we were talking off air the other night. Like, I give Crosby a hell of a lot of credit because most guys in his situation at 38 years old would have asked out of Pittsburgh and said, like, I want to go somewhere else and try and win a cup because this organization is going nowhere right now. So I do give him a lot of credit that he's been willing to stick it out and see what they can do there here in his golden years in the league.
Yeah, and to his credit, he stayed, as you mentioned, Ryan, stayed with it. And I got to say, I'm so excited about watching this game today, watching those two guys play. And they just got a plethora of talent, 4 lines. And, their only question right now is their goaltending. So it'll be interesting to see how the Bruins take it to their goaltender and their defenseman today. But it's just the league is at a great spot right now. And it's just they've got so much good talent, young talent as well.
Awesome. Kenny, thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to hearing you on the call later today. Should be a great one. As you said, Bruins and Avalanche. Bruins looking to end their skid against a quality opponent, so we can't wait to hear you on the call today.
Thanks, fellas. Appreciate it.